Hello YouTube! In this video, I'll show you how to create a post-apocalyptic Stalker diorama with the radioactive Chernobyl vibe. I'd like to thank Tyler over at Imperial Hobby Paint for sending me a new set of their paints appropriately titled the Scavenger's Toolbox. Inside it, you'll find 9 bottles with the yellow, orange, blue, pink, white, green, gray, aluminum, and a black shade. I've used them all for painting this miniature figure, and I'll continue to use them on future builds because they worked out really well. If you don't like the tones that come in this package, they've got a couple other sets with their Magic Portal Pack having a much brighter set of colors if that's what you're into. And you can of course buy the bottles individually. There is a link in the description below, so definitely check them out. That's Imperial Hobby Paints. But wait until you've finished watching this video in its entirety. Once I've got the base color spread around evenly, I'll add in some white, sometimes a little black shade, maybe some more green or blue. I'm just making it up as I go along, trying to highlight the raised creases on his clothing and then shade some of the indents. I do this over the course of a couple days, sometimes letting it dry in between, sometimes not. Really, I just kind of winged it. But the paint worked really well in terms of coverage once you build up multiple layers and start getting some tonal variation. If you're wondering about what brand figure I used, you're out of luck. I purchased it off eBay. Origins of it are skeptical. It didn't come in a box. In fact, it was just a little plastic baggie with a few parts that glue together. It's resin, and it arrived from China about a month after I ordered. You'll notice the shade of the pants and the jacket slightly change along the way, and that's because I didn't mix up one big batch of paint. I'm just kind of mixing it as I go along, so you never get the same color twice, and that's actually pretty good because the light's always going to be reflecting a little bit differently. By the way, Stalker is actually an acronym for Scavengers, Trespassers, Adventurers, Loners, Killers, Explorers, and Robbers. Not like the Night Stalker or any of that creepy serial killer stuff. If you're thinking that all these colors I'm using look a little faded, you would be correct, and that's part of what this Scavenger's Toolbox is. If you're looking for really bright colors, Imperial Hobby has a different box called the Magic Set, and that's the one that has really bright red, green, yellow in it. The teddy bear and the teapot on the back of this figure are part of the reason I wanted to get it. I thought it looked super cool how this guy's walking around in a Tyvek suit with a rifle, and yet he's got this pink teddy bear and a teapot strapped to his backpack. The techniques I used, whether it was painting his backpack or his gas mask, were all kind of the same. First, I'd break out my color wheel, figure out what 2 colors I had to mix together to get the third. That way I had a lot more colors to work with. And then I start adding in some of this eerie mist or the high noon shade. That's basically your white or black. And that's how you get the different highlights, which really make this figure, or any figure, a lot more dynamic. Cyzicus is an ancient town in Turkey that you can learn all about on Google and Wikipedia, but in this case it's an excellent metal color as part of this set. I'll use it straight from the bottle on some of the buckles on his belt and backpack, but the other cool thing about this color is that it mixes well with every other color, so you can make various metallic colors. In this case I made a light blue teapot. One thing I would have liked to see in this set, particularly for the boots, would be a thicker color black. You do get a shade, but it's not really meant for, base coat coverage like on these boots. I ended up having to supplement the solid black with some Tamiya paint, but I came back over it with the rain and steel, which is basically gray, and did a little dry brushing over the laces on the boots to help make them pop. I mixed up a wash with some black oil paint and mineral spirits and dabbed it on in the recessions of his clothes. I decided not to spray a clear coat over the radiation suit he was wearing because it had a little bit of shine to it just from the way the paint dried, and I thought that looked pretty good for this like plasticky finish of what I imagined the suit would be. I did end up spraying a matte varnish on some selected areas like the backpack and his boots because I wanted to pull the shine down out of those. I spent a while trying to figure out what type of gun this was, and the closest guess I could get was an AK-12. So I painted it all black and then did a little bit of dry brushing on it just to bring out the raised details. If you think it's a different type of gun, let me know. I'm actually kind of curious. Leave a comment or something. When I started out on the diorama part of this, I had a slight idea of what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted it to be kind of natural looking as opposed to urban, plus I had like a ton of static grass left over from the previous diorama, and it gets kind of expensive when you have to buy new materials all the time. The wood I've used is basswood, which is actually very similar to balsa wood, but it's a little more durable and less prone to warping. It also happens to be what the model shop was selling the day I wanted to go buy some. You can make some barbed wire by taking a thin piece of wire, folding it over on itself, and then twisting it tightly. Then you take a second piece of wire and start wrapping it around your first. Then you'll need to secure the barbs with a little extra thin super glue. I wrapped it as tight as I could, but once you start cutting the loops off, the barbs will slide around a little bit. Ultimately, you'll make some loops that are up and down, alternating along the way. You can cut off the loops and you're left with the little bit of barbs. Before I did any work on the base, I sprayed it with some heavy coats of Mr. Color matte varnish. The goal there is to seal in the wood before I put down this acrylic AK Terrains earth, and that way the wood won't absorb the water and potentially warp. I also super glued these random pieces of foam all over the place to try to make the ground a little more uneven, and also so I didn't have to use as much of the dark earth mud as I spread it all over the place. While everything's still wet, I put in some of the pieces from my Panzer, one of the road wheels, and some tracks, and kind of pushed them down so I get them a little buried in the dirt. At this point, I'll start spraying some of the various shades of brown that I've got. It's not completely random because I am trying to use some of the lighter shades where I see the raised edges, but for the most part I want there to be multiple shades covering this ground. So a little bit of paint, then some dry brushing highlights, and then some pigment. I did a little positioning with the fence posts. My goal here was to create an opening in the fence that at one point had been covered with barbed wire, but someone had come along and snipped it out, and now the barbed wire is just dangling. I'm using this pin vise to poke some nail holes along the wood, which will become visible once I add a wash over it. The fence looks a little too distressed at this point, kind of like a haunted house or something. So I mixed up some real thin washes with a couple different shades of brown. Just brushed those oil washes on, let them soak in, and did a few different coats to build up the color. Using this buff color straight from the bottle, not diluted, kind of helps bring out some of the wood grain again. And then putting some green down around the base of the fence, kind of helps with some moss and mold and vegetation growth. I didn't even wait for the paint to dry before I started putting the pigment down on the barbed wire. This way it kind of clumps up a little, makes it look extra rusty and like it's just crumbling away. For the radiation sign, I made the post out of some stretched sprue and the triangle sign out of some plastic sheet. There's a lot of reference photos for these type of signs, especially if you search Chernobyl. And a lot of them appear to be hand painted, so I just kind of winged it. It doesn't come across perfect, but looking at some of the references, I don't think it really mattered. The liquid you see pooled up on the base is alcohol. That's what I'm dropping the fine turf into. I do that so that when I put some glue down, it'll disperse and not be all clumpy. I started out just doing small sections of the grass, then I'll come back later and kind of fill it in as I go along and decide that, okay, I like how this looks. I never really found a great reference photo for what I was going to create, but the general idea I'm going for is a dirt pathway with some tall, overgrown grass around it, and of course the decaying fence. Here's a good example of not putting on enough alcohol in the first place. You can see the white pools of glue, and so when I put alcohol on afterwards, it accomplishes the same thing and you can see it start to dissipate. After I glued the fence in place, I realized I couldn't get my strainer basket close enough to the base to maintain the static field and get the grass to stand straight up. I was able to kind of use the basket on its side with those two loops on either end that kind of rest on, the glass that you're supposed to use this strainer for. You can see that the static field starts to make the grass jump up once I get it real close. I had a lot of green in this diorama, and I wanted some color. I wanted to do some flowers, but I did not want to pay for a lifetime supply of red colored flowers. So you can literally just paint the fine turf. It works fine if you're going to do it in small batches like what I'm doing here. An entire field would be difficult. Literally just paint it and it clumps up, set it off to the side, let it dry. It will take a little bit longer to apply since you have a limited supply, and I literally found myself going flower by flower versus dumping a whole bag and just seeing what hits and sticks on the glue. Don't forget to add the broken pieces of the fence around the base, or be prepared to explain why someone would have wanted to steal all of the wood. From this point out, I've kind of got the general layout, so I'm really just kind of winging it with putting in some more grass here and there, some of this coarse turf to build up the underbrush, sprinkling some of my chopped up leaves that I used earlier for some good texture, really just making it a little bit more lush with the vegetation and not so sparse looking. Once again, thank you to Imperial Hobby Paints for the set which they sent me, the Scavenger's Toolbox, which I was able to use on the figure here. Excellent paint. I like how it turned out. I would use them again. Go check them out. Their website is in the description below. That's Imperial Hobby Paints. Thanks for sticking around to the end. If you want to see more dioramas or figures like this, let me know. That'll give me the encouragement to keep on producing stuff like this. Thanks to everyone. I'll see you on the next video.